labda miaka miwili.
Well, indeed, the sentiments of frustrated travelers right on the Mombasa highway. And that, of course, is a situation that is replicated right across the country when it starts raining, because Kenyans have not really been known for proper management of floods, of water, or even in times of drought. But, of course, these are some of the things we want to unpack now. And with me here in studio to discuss just what exactly you can do to prevent yourself becoming a statistic, and indeed saying that you are on top of the next rain or flood or even drought cycle. Well, Engineer Peter Kimori, yes, karibu sana.
Asante.
You are the Minister for, well, Environment, Energy and Water, Nairobi County.
Correct.
Yes, and you sit at a place where you're able to give us a proactive perspective of what we should be doing now that it has actually started to rain yet again. Kenyans are coming out of a really bad drought, complaints of water rationing, water shortages. How can we as Kenyans get on top of this? And of course, one of the things that has been happening is the fact that a lot of people put the blame squarely at the foot of the county government, saying that the reason they don't have enough water is the county government. But again, we are saying the people actually might be the problem because times are changing. What can they proactively do to get on top of this situation?
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Your first question is really a very wide question because it covers across the country.
Yes.
And it's better answered by the Water Resource Management Board. But however, even here in Nairobi, we do experience floods.
Yes.
So I will really focus on what we can do as Nairobians to mitigate this kind of a problem. First of all, in Nairobi, what we have done for the last 2 months, we have tried to make sure that our open drains can provide a free flow of any storm water which comes in. We have invested very heavily to make sure that the drains are open. You have been seeing a lot of activities in estates, making sure that when the rains come the way they have come, we don't have a problem. You realize it rained the whole night.
Yes.
And I have not had a complaint that
it has flooded.
was flooded.
But that is from your perspective. Let's flip the coin and look at what the Mwananchi needs to do, because a lot of the times we are the same people who are clogging these drains. We're the same ones throwing away plastic bottles. We are the same ones throwing trash into these places. What can Kenyans proactively do to make sure that these things remain open?
There's a lot that Mwananchi can do.
Yes.
First of all, let us be part of the solution.
Yes.
Do not wait to be told that the county will come and do this for you. We have tried as a county to mobilize resident associations and even the residents to make sure that they feel that the environment is theirs. We have been working in areas like Kasarani with the residents and all those.
Yes.
And I'm happy to report when I went there this morning where we worked about 3 months ago, there were no floods, where there were perennial problems. So this is something to do with the flood water. It has nothing to do with the tap water or the water which we consume. So I'm urging Nairobians to be more responsible. When you are throwing a litter, do it, put it in the bin, because that litter finally goes to clog a certain open drain.
I want to interrupt you right there, because that brings us to two different issues.
Yes.
First, of course, there is the move to ban plastics, certain kinds of plastics in Nairobi, and the sort of lack of support or lukewarm reception that has gotten from residents in Nairobi, not knowing that this is actually the thing that affects them. Let's first deal with that issue. What do we need to do over the next 6 months to ensure that this actually becomes reality from a Mwananchi perspective, so that people can start to actualize this?
There are two things that I want to look at it from the enforcement point of view and the Mwananchi's point of view.
Yes.
This bill was passed, yes, but right now what I know is that as a county we are preparing regulations.
Yes.
Because an act is just a statement. So we are now working towards the regulations on how to enforce this act. And this may take, because at the end of the day it must go to our assembly. Also at the national level, it must go to the National Assembly for the regulations to be ratified. So that is what is happening from the authority point of view.
Yes.
From the Mwananchi's point of view, I know we have a lot of support from Mwananchi. So it is not really a lukewarm kind of thing. Mwananchi is ready to support us, walk along this route. And therefore, when I talk to the people in the streets, they are comfortable carrying their packages in packages which are made of paper, which can be disposed of, and then it can easily, it cannot remain the ground like what we are having with the plastics. So degradable materials is what we are encouraging.
Yes. The second aspect of that conversation is also the recycling bit. There has been a recent move to start to create energy from recycling waste material at Dandora dump site and other places. Again, what do we need to do as wananchi to ensure that this becomes reality? Because we want to be able to support what the government is doing.
The waste to energy project is on course, and I want to talk from a very authoritative point of view that we have just completed the feasibility study on the waste to energy project in Dandora, where we are pumping about 2,000 tons of garbage into Dandora. And therefore, in the next few weeks, which are not more than 3, we will be advertising for expression of interest so that we can partner with anybody who is interested in this kind of a project. So it is on course, and as a county which will own the project, because Dandora is our project, and we are very keen that we turn that resource which people are calling waste or garbage to energy. So it's on course. We are working very closely with the PPP department of the Ministry of Finance to make sure that we follow the law. What has been delaying this project is that people were expressing interest without doing a feasibility study, which is a prerequisite to start off the project.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is the Mwananchi perspective to all this? I know that you have to sort your garbage in a certain way. So again, please point out the things that Mwananchi needs to do so that when by the time you leave, they know that this is what I'm supposed to do my part to be able to fulfill this for the county of Nairobi.
Now, on the issue of energy, I just want to say that the garbage we take to Dandora is a whole mix of garbage, which has got organic material, plastic, metals, and all those. There are about 1,000 families, about 3,000 people in Dandora who are doing separation and bringing back the garbage to, not the garbage now, this is the selected material back to specific industries. And plastic forms 10% of it. We are now working on a program to see if we can separate this resource before it reaches Dandora. Of course, the composition right now means that the calorific or the energy level of that garbage is very low. So there are some things which
Can it
need
be
to be
separated at the source? Because in other countries, people have color-coded bins for different sorts of things.
Correct. We tried it in Nairobi. If you walk along Kimori Street, you walk Kenyatta Avenue, you will see a 3-bin system whereby you are supposed to separate at source. But it requires a lot of public awareness. It requires a lot of input in terms of telling Kenyans or people why we must separate at source. If you have a plastic bottle, just throw it where it is indicated plastic. So that is the roadmap for now. But we are far from it because I have other urgent issues to tell Nairobians. First of all, don't drop a litter anywhere. Drop it on the bin. I have an appeal task to convince.
So public communication, definitely something that we will engage you on going forward because that is also a bit of what we do. Now, let's turn to the issue of water. Kenyans coming out from literally this huge and persistent drought over the last few months. People complaining there's no water in different places. But again, we're asking from a proactive perspective, why is this the reason? What are the solutions? Because there are people who have water in Nairobi. What are they doing differently?
First, let it be clear to everybody that the issue, we are not out of the woods yet. Rains have just come in for the last maybe 4 days. However, our water sources in Nairobi are from the Abadeas, Muranga, that is Nyandarua area. It started raining 2 days ago. So we are not out of the woods. We will still ration water for maybe so long as the Ndakaini Dam is still going down. Because as per this morning, we were at 22.5%.
Wow.
The inflow into the Ndakaini Dam was measured yesterday. The inflow has improved. However, we are drawing out more water than it is coming in. That means the water level is still coming down. But I can assure you, the inflow has doubled. So if it continues the way it has done for the last 2 days, we can give a statement after a week. We can reschedule or we can announce.
You can ease the situation.
It may ease the situation. So we are not yet out, and I'm requesting Nairobians, please use your water sparingly because we are only able to supply 50% of your demand.
Let's talk about the proactive perspective, the fact that people should literally be able to manage and conserve their water. Rather than saying we don't have water, have a water tank where you can store it for use. Those sorts of measures. Please talk to us something about
Thank you. Some of the proactive measures we have been actually out campaigning through the electronic media and print is that we need to make sure that action starts from you.
Yes.
First of all, we had appealed to Nairobians during the worst of it all. Don't wash your car. Don't let the tap running when you are brushing your teeth. All those are proactive measures. Buy a small water tank.
Yes.
Because the pressure we had was very low in Nairobi. So if we have given you an allocation of Saturday, maybe from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m., if the pressure is low and you have a tank in your home, of course it will go in so long as it's on the ground.
Yes.
So some of the proactive measures is that just have a small water tank which can run you, maybe for the 5 days we are not supplying you with the water. Please also recycle the water.
Yes.
Now that it's raining, you may not need to water your garden. But it doesn't mean that you don't use the water economically.
Let's talk about regulation, because in some places it is a must that you store rainwater, gutter systems, things like that, have storage tanks in multiple use dwellings, those sorts of things to enable even not just convenience, but also because of health. Because in places that are more crowded, then it becomes a health issue if there is no water. Are Kenyans proactively following these rules? And if not, what enforcement do we start to see in terms of when it comes to the building code?
Yeah, one of the sectors I'm in charge of is energy.
Yes.
You realize that any new building which is coming up, we are encouraging them to go into solar energy, either to heat water or maybe to produce electricity by solar.
Yes.
I want to reflect the same with the water situation, because water is the next thing which people are going to fight over.
Yes.
We like it or not, water is the big thing we're going to fight over. So we need to change how we look at water. For example, we have rainwater. We are lucky in Nairobi, we have a lot of rain, or in Kenya.
Yes.
So roof catchment is one thing which we are encouraging very much, so that you can at least store some water which can be used for laundry purposes. We have not reached a situation whereby we can guarantee that the rainwater is very clean, because it depends on where it has passed by the time it reaches your storage tank, whether it's underground or wherever.
Yes.
But that water can be harvested and used for something else within the estate or within the compound. So I'm foreseeing a situation, because we have not developed the regulation, but I'll encourage a situation whereby for us to approve your building plan, we'll also encourage you to do roof harvesting. How do you also harvest the service water which is running? As a county, I'm sure we will be able to put in place measures whereby we harvest the drain water which can be used for alternative uses.
Yes. Very quickly, maybe just a quick one. What do you think is the most pressing environment, water or energy issue that is facing Nairobians and Kenyans right now? And what would you say to them about it?
The biggest challenge I face in Nairobi is what happens every day. This is the issue of solid waste collection, transportation, and disposal at Dandora. That is really one of my biggest headache, because this is a very sensitive thing. Because if you, for example, if I don't collect any waste from City Market, which is really at the center of the CBD, for just half a day, we do collect garbage from there 4 times a day.
Wow.
If I don't collect it for a day, people will riot in Nairobi that I have never collected garbage. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge that I must be there real time and do it. Because one offense or one disappointment to Nairobians is enough to disappoint them for the next maybe 1 month. They say Nairobi is just a city of garbage, which is far from the truth.
Okay.
Yes.
Indeed, thank you very much. Not a lot of time, the Kenyans don't get to hear this sort of thing very often, because they take it for granted that these things are going on, and if it's not happening, then it's because the city government is not working. Thank you very much, sir, for taking the time to talk to us. And of course, giving us the proactive perspective, because every Kenyan, indeed every Nairobian, needs to play a role. Asante sana, Engineer Kimori.
Karibu, sir.
Well, now, of course, there you have it, the fact that though it's raining, of course, the water situation might just continue for a few more weeks. So do continue to use your water in